go. Nice and easy. No way out, little guys. Not out of this jam.
There's a cylinder on the ground in which the man is arranging some netting. It looks like some kind of trap.
Who's there? Oh, the police. Hello, officers.
Is that the police? Why are the police here?
Don't worry, Gary. I'll handle it. To what do I owe the pleasure?
That's sarcasm. He takes no pleasure from your appearance.
Oh no, it's all right. I'm just busy. What's this about? Hey, of course. Thank you for passing along the message. That damn water lock is broken, and we can't go all the way around the 881. You broke the water lock with a motor carriage? There was a billboard in the canal. Not a vehicle. It said Samaran Butter. Why? Scientist. Yes, okay. But you said the water lock is fixed now, so we can go back.
Did he say we can go back now?
Yes, Gary. We can go soon. If you see Lena, tell her I won't be long.
Sir, your wife is waiting for you.
I just have to do one more round. See if the phasmid has taken the bait. Then we go in. Well, first of all, it's damn difficult to find, which is why we've been knee-deep in the reeds laying traps for him. Good question. Being a phasmid of the order Phantasmodea, a ghost insect, it disguises itself as plant matter. In this case, the reeds. Awful lot of reeds around, aren't there? And I suspect it may have also developed other specialised techniques to protect itself from predators, or scientists, in our present case. It's my hypothesis. that it has evolved certain electrochemical defenses that allow it to interfere with animal perception, impeding pattern recognition, confusing the visual cortex. But I cannot describe how these defenses work, much less how they evolved, without studying a live specimen.
A ghost insect, he said? These people are looking for a ghost.
No, that is precisely what we're not. We are zoological specialists, looking for an extant species of phasmid. I'm expecting it to be quite giant. One known species of phasmid, called the Megaphasmodea zoensis, is about the size of a grown man's forearm, so,
Seems puny, to be honest.
typical rookie assumption. Insects are much more sophisticated creatures than those unversed in zoology give them credit for. Even simply catching a glimpse of the Insulindian phasmid would be the apex of my, of any, cryptozoologist's career. But to study it and its defences, find out how it stayed hidden so long,
Would be glory itself.
very little, I'm sorry to say. No one's ever captured a specimen, so all our information is based on first and third-hand accounts. Not yet. That's what makes it a cryptid.
Just out of curiosity, if there's no proof of its existence, how do you know it's real?
I know it's real.
It's clear that his obsession with the phasmid is driven by something more than the pure pursuit of scientific advancement.
By which I mean, I've heard enough first-hand accounts to believe quite firmly that the Insulindian phasmid is more than mere superstition. Yes, the most recent sighting was by a couple of teenagers along the coast here. That's what brought us to Martinez specifically. It's the first credible sighting in several decades. Admittedly, it's an unusual location for this species, but with all the sewage runoff upstream, it probably doesn't matter much anymore. I have to resist the thought. Such an extraordinary creature is doubtlessly highly resilient. After all, it's generally thought to be capable of parthenogenesis.
He means asexual reproduction. The females of the species don't need to mate to produce viable eggs. This makes it easier for a species with a small population to survive.
Yes, the Insulindian phasmid is a very clever insect. That's why it's so damn difficult to catch. But as a scientist, I'll try my best to remain dispassionate. Well, they may not look impressive, but Lena designed them quite cleverly, so I'm sure they'll do the trick. Yes. Simple. Attracted by the locusts, the phasmid crawls down the funnel and, having eaten its fill, can get back out. At least, that's the intention. The net isn't a perfect solution, but we didn't want to use anything that might damage the specimen's delicate exoskeleton. Locusts. Nearly all known phasmids are herbivores, of course. But we've hypothesized that the Insulindian phasmid might occasionally prey on other insects.
A meat-eating stick insect? Does it pretend to be the reeds as part of its ambush behavior? This seems unlikely.
Thank you for your opinion. We have also included plant material in the traps to satiate your skepticism. They'll work, I assure you. The predatory hypothesis, using locusts as bait, accounts for the failure of previous efforts by other teams, which use plants. We have given this some thought. Yes. What? And I'm eager to return to her, I assure you. But I can't leave before we finish with these traps. My wife understands that just as well as anyone.
Come on, Morale. We've been soaking out here for days. It's time to go back.
And leave the traps? Absolutely not. I won't let Lena down.
Come on, she wants us back. I'm soaked up to my nuts over here. We'll both catch reed crabs if we don't dry out soon.
Of course it's important to her. She's seen it. A verified sighting, on record. One of only 4 this century, and it's hers. Yes, that's how we first came to know one another, in fact. But that's her story to tell, not mine. Suffice to say, it's long been our dream to find proof of the Insulindian phasmid together. I can't abandon course now.
His spirit may be willing, but his body might be too old to endure the rigors of the coast.
No. The traps need to be monitored on a regular schedule. would we do if the Phasmid were to starve while we were sipping tea at the hostel? I didn't expect you to take such an interest in our work here, officer. Caught the bug, I see. It's easier to get caught up in the search than you'd imagine. There are 4 in total. One is to the south, on this little peninsula, by the boathouses there. It's very near. Another we set in Land's End, to the northeast. It's behind a small sand dune there, on your way to the old radio tower, after the church. The third is set near the canal, where you crossed, by a concrete slab. A big thicket of reeds going up the slope, and among them... You should check at least one of those before returning to this one, since I just said it. This one's more of a technicality, but still, better safe and stupid than sorry. Bring it to me at once. Just make sure the trap is closed tight.
He's not comfortable with the possibility that you'll claim the find, but he's lying about this even to himself.
That's highly unlikely, officer. And in the event you do, I'll spray you with a pheromone mixture I developed.
Did you hear that? Pheromones. You were right about the teenagers.
Oh, I doubt there is any connection there. Anyway, these pheromones will attract the insect to you, or at least prevent it from bolting at the sight of you. It's quite potent. Should last you about a week.
This is the smell of dying reeds, of longing crumbling into the water.
I hope you're not buying this. He dispenses it without letting you touch the canister, so it would be precious like holy water.
It is precious. A single dose cost me 50 real to develop. Not that I expect you to understand self-financing one's own research.
Right, which means you two can pack up and go back to the whirling.
Finally, someone's talking sense.
Thank you for your help. Gary and I will start breaking down camp. If you have any more questions, now's the time to ask. We'll be gone once you get to it.
If it's more cryptid-related business you want to discuss, you'll have time for that later too.
I've just always liked animals and puzzles. Searching for cryptids is a bit of both. It's not child's play. Just because I have to traipse through the mud every so often. Real. I know you think one is a respectable profession, while the other is superstition. Everyone does. Indeed. My methods do not differ from other scientists. I simply draw upon a wider variety of evidence. And I have more hope that something truly surprising might happen.
Your nerve endings tell you there is no such thing as a positive surprise.
No, as I said, I have yet to catch a cryptid, although I have come close. Close enough to keep trying. Everything from forgotten regional lore to newspaper accounts, like the one that brought us here, to look for the phasmid. I keep a very open mind.
He's interested in things that people believe that scientists don't.
Most establishment scientists only care about reputation and remuneration, not real research, and certainly not the truth. They're a cowardly lot, and both the field and basement archives can be dangerous places. No, very few cryptids are ever discovered. And not for a lack of trying. To stay hidden is a cryptid's primary quality. It's even in the name, cryptid. Of the list of cryptids kept by the Cryptozoological Society of Chemney, which is 4,082 items long, about 2,000 have been confirmed as hoaxes. 2 are categorized as confirmed discoveries. The rest are in differing stages of discovery, refutation, and data collection. Yes, the Chateauquan forest pygmy, who turned out to be an extinct species of primate, and a cave salamander from Yugograd, who is, honestly, quite unremarkable. It's in a zoo somewhere. We cryptozoologists are brutally honest with ourselves. More so even than the public. With cryptids, most cryptids are hoaxes or they are never found. That does not mean we should stop searching. In fact, it is 0.05%. Ever more magnificent, should our search contribute to making that number 0.075%.
He has clearly done his math on this. There is no surprising him or swaying his opinion.
Yes? All right. What cryptids precisely? I usually discuss these things with specialists, so I don't know what.
We would have to discuss. He wants to say, but decides against it. Since you've offered to help, you need to ask him about specific cryptids. Cryptids you've heard about from Lena or his friend Gary. He won't just talk.
A willow person. It's a long story. One non-specialists would find rather dull.
Willow people? Not at all.
They're not people, really. Some argue they aren't really animals, as they seem to have evolved directly from trees. They're very, very thin, almost flat in fact, and can camouflage themselves easily, wrapping themselves around trees and blending in with the tree bark. In that way, they're not too dissimilar from the phasmid we're looking for here. You probably have. Gary and I painted an entire grove's worth of trees in slow-drying paints. It was a bright lavender colour. I was hoping one of the willow people would get paint on it and not be able to camouflage itself. After waiting in hiding for hours, I saw a figure slip from one of the trees, a lavender shadow dashing through the grove. I chased it with a net. Not very elegant. You can't be elegant in the field. And, well, it was faster than me.
A lavender shadow.
I know you think we were snacking on funny mushrooms. It's easier to mock someone than to admit that the world might be more interesting than you've imagined. Furthermore, I'm not saying it was a confirmed sighting. I'm painfully aware of what goes into verifying such things. There is a serious possibility that I saw a squirrel or a trick of the light. I am my own harshest critic.
He makes it a real point here to sound falsifiable.
Confirmed. It's 100% verified and meets all the standards of an authentic cryptid sighting. I see you've been talking about cryptids with Lena. The kind green ape is one of her favourites. We travelled to South Safra to look for it once. Gary and I got stuck in a rainstorm though, and had to spend most of our time there in a little village. The search was fabulously unsuccessful, but the people were very nice. I'm glad they didn't understand what Gary was saying about them.
What? South Safra? They're just on a different rung of the ladder, Morel. I had no problem with them.
Really? You kept complaining about how dirty everything is, but we digress.
They're a nascent culture. I just didn't feel comfortable. And let's change the topic, okay? Talk about your critters, or whatever.
Formerly the most dangerous, yes. But do you know the most dangerous living cryptid? The most dangerous cryptid is a carnivorous ruminant, known colloquially as the dread moose. Yes, the dread moose subsists entirely on flesh. It has even been known to dig up fresh graves in search of sustenance. Human remains have been found deep in the forest, torn apart, then trampled into the mulch by large hooves. Infer from that what you will. Just like an ordinary ardent moose. You can't. That's what makes it so dreadful and hard to identify.
A moose that looks like any other moose. What's going on here? He's kidding, right?
Of course you do.
The bodies found in the forest are just one piece of physical evidence. There's more. Sightings in Vasa, reaching back 4 centuries. But, of course, nothing satiates the skepticism of.
A detective. Pardon me, I did not wish to seek conflict. It's simply my training to question things.
Understood, Lieutenant. That's impressive, I guess. But have you seen it with your own eyes? Of course you haven't. I haven't had a chance to travel to Coco Nor. No, and I likely never will. The Samaskill desert region has been embroiled in a small civil war for the last 8 years. I fear this mindless barbarism may have wiped out the elusive creature entirely. Sightings of towering luminosities have grown rare recently, while they once used to be constant.
Yes, sightings of mirages are constant. A mirage is a constant phenomenon that people have no time to report when a war is going on. It remains unclear what this has got to do with you seeing it, as he was inquiring before. He was just being defensive.
Oh, everyone knows about that one. Thanks to Professor Mijanu being the talk of the town for a time.
A bit of jealousy there. He'd want that glory, truth be told, even if he'd have to inject himself with bacteria to get it.
Although, probably because her life ended as a result of her work in Gutler, no one remembers her contributions to the search for the Nong-Ok. A flightless cursor owl found in the Seminine Isles. Its long legs permit the Nong-Ok to run faster than any other avian, perhaps any other animal, who knows. When it's not hunting its prey in this manner, the Ok hangs from tree branches, like a bat, waiting to dive on hapless prey below on the jungle floor. Mijanu liked extreme animals, you see. One of the few figures of the academic establishment I respect. Really a shame she disappeared. Oh, decades ago. In the 30s. I didn't know her personally, of course. The chasm of academic pretension still stood before us, even though she had unusual courage for someone from the other side. No offense, officer, but I'm not much of a pedagogue. I don't know what I would have done if Lena hadn't persuaded me to go back to field research. You should ask her if you want interesting stories. Me? I'm not a people person, unless you haven't noticed. And I don't make a good lecturer. My strength lies in field work and persistence. By all means.
Hello, I'm Gary. Very generous of you to help us out, officer. Yellow man. I mean, officer.
The lieutenant raises his eyebrows slightly and takes out his notebook. Yellow man. Interesting. This is something to ask him about, after a little probing first.
I'm just waiting for my friend Morel to finish up with his insect traps so we can return to civilization. I like nature, just not this bloody coast. It's mostly drunks and degenerates that come here.
Degenerates? This man respects authority too much. To see the truth inscribed upon thine own visage. Pretend thou art a paragon of virtue.
Dark times will do that to good men. No. I help Morel with research sometimes, and I've learned some things along the way. But I don't usually go in for picnics like this on my own.
After all this time with Morel, he must have an opinion on cryptids. This could lead to a good one.
Oh, yes, the burning rhino. Morel doubts he's real, but I don't much care, because I won't be the one looking for him out in Safra Serai. A rhinoceros that looks ordinary during the day, but burns brightly by night. Well, at least the males do. They have special ducts just above their shoulder blades that secrete a combustible fluid. When the rhino is just beginning to light itself, it looks as though it has wings of fire.
But how is this combustible fluid lit?
The rhino starts running very fast to build heat, then stops, raises its head, and sparks fly from its neck, setting its back ablaze.
We don't really do that around here.
Perhaps we should have more such decisive action in Revachol. You know, this city used to be a flaming rhino once. A long time ago. The flames are not just for decoration. They are an integral part of the beast's mating behavior. During the burning rhino's mating season, herds of male rhinos, all aflame, encircle herds of female rhinos, forming a fiery ring as they begin to copulate loudly. Local peasants call it the Passion Ring. They fear the rhinos, as perhaps they should. Anyway.
The lieutenant sighs, without looking up from his notes. It's clear the burning rhino is dear to him on many levels, some even spiritual.
Not many Sealites here, or anywhere, other than Seol. I meant no offense, truly.
Do you remember how, when we met Measurehead and I said the next races will be a really good one? Well, this is that racist.
Hey, man, all I meant was there are not many Sealites around here. I'm just stating a fact. No, no problem at all. Not many Sealites here.
Do you remember how, when we met Measurehead and... Well, this is that racist.
Hey, man, all I meant was there are not... Oh, yes, of course he is. I was just speaking about his... connections. Let's change the subject, okay? My mug? Why would you think that? Really? I hear it all the time. All in jest, of course. No offense meant to anyone. Okay, I admit it. I threw the mug away in the trash container behind the hostel. I know you're not going to find me, are you? Oh, God. 250? How am I gonna pay that? Okay, I'll work harder. I'll pay it off. I promise.
This is a considerable expense to him. 1 month's wage, most likely.
And I'll never do it again. I don't know what got into me, really. Work has been stressful lately. Damn Koiko's price dumping us out of competition.
What did you do, Gary?
Nothing. Nothing. Just answering some questions. Helping out the law.
Here we go. Start pumping that sweet info.
I know a guy who works with the trash collection services, CS Municipal. He gave me a master key for the trash containers of Martinez. So I can use the Whirling's trash compactor to store my own stuff. Garbage disposal is expensive as hell. The damn Chimeans run it like a mob. I'm sorry, okay? I thought I could cut costs. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have disgraced myself.
Disgraced? No need for the histrionic, sir. It was, after all, just a trash container.
Officer, please. Let me explain. It's not like that. I was only cleaning up. I live right across the yard from where he was hanged, and I saw him stripped naked. All the clothes lying around in the yard, smelling. People are animals, you know? Then I came out to clean up the rags because no one else would. I put them into the Whirling's trash, along with a broken mug, admittedly. Okay. I was coming to throw the mug away, and, well, I threw the mug there and the clothes too.
Right. It was just civic duty.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. Civic duty. Armor? No. I mean, yes. Of course. I know he was wearing armor, but I don't know anything about it.
An infant could see he's not telling the truth, but he's too scared to admit more wrongdoing.
Armor? No.
An infant could see he's not telling the truth, but he's too scared to admit more wrongdoing.
I hope I could help your investigation, in my small way. I told you everything I know, sir. I'm truly sorry for the mug, but I have nothing to do with that.
Uncomfortable shifting around doesn't make him the killer, though. It's something else.
Always a pleasure to see an officer of the law. I mean, officers.
Is he? He's looking comfortable enough. Maybe it was just beads. Sounded like beads. But what kind of beads might a man like Gary be hiding beneath his clothes?
You wouldn't be able to hear if you were wearing anal beads. Please excuse my colleague's humor. Working this murder case is taking a toll on us both. You don't quite have to answer that yet.
What he means is, working on the case is taking a toll on you, and working with you is taking a toll on him.
Of course, of course. Always a pleasure to... I mean, officers.
Okay, he keeps shifting uncomfortably, but you can't make head or tail of this sound. And honestly, it's rude to stare, so stop.
Always a pleasure. I mean, officers.
Is he? He's looking comfortable enough. Maybe it was just beads. Sounded like beads. But what kind of beads might a man like Gary be?
I don't pray, officer. Faith in non-existent helpers is a sign of weakness. Not for proper Revicolian men such as ourselves. Always a pledge. I mean, officers.
That shirt looks very uncomfortable on him. Look at the buttons, barely keeping that thing together, as if something is ready to rip out from underneath. Yes, like a piece of ceramic armor, for example. One that makes a clicking sound when the plates meet each other, resembling pearls or marbles, stolen from the corpse in the yard near where he lives.
I knew you'd figure it out, officer. I'm sorry I didn't tell you at once. I was ashamed of what I did, and I didn't want you to know.
We're not detecting falsehood, sire. He's gearing up to admit the truth.
Gary, what's going on?
Later, Morale. I've got apologizing to do.
No, you've got explaining to do.
He sighs again, hangs his head, and unbuttons his shirt fully. A cuirass that matches the dead man's boots comes into view. Soon it is in your hands, smelling of his sweat. This is it. This will protect your mortal shell. Don it and live.
Everyone was picking those pieces off him, and I was watching them do it. And they'd scattered his clothes all over the yard. Everything was smelling. So I went there to take out the trash and started cleaning up. All those rags on the ground, him swinging up there, and I had a lapse of honor, sir. I thought, he's a foreigner. They all say he wasn't from here. Only the cuirass was left, so I stripped it off him. It was early in the morning. No one saw me. I took it with me. It was a mistake. Had I known it'd give you guys trouble, I wouldn't have... Fuck.
We're detecting sincere contrition here, sire. He's not trying to flatter anyone.
It's okay. It was a loose end, and you are tying it up now.
I'm so fucking sorry I called you Yellow Man. Sealite officers commanded the suzerain's navy. Most of them sided with the king when...
They were thoroughly conservative men, he realizes suddenly.
Because I was weak. I should have told you the moment I saw you. But
The hell, Gary? You in trouble?
I'll explain later. I always thought it was the Union. Some Union hardasses. Lynched him because of the strike. But almost everyone in town knows that. I wish I could tell you more.
This is all he knows.
Yes, absolutely. I will never do anything like this again.
We'll be on our way soon. Thank you again for lending a hand. Hell no. I had no idea. And I'm still cross with him, to be honest. It's not like him. He's got his quirks, but dishonesty, disloyalty are not one of them.
Thanks.
You see, a once bright mural towering.
Hello. Isn't this a fine morning?
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with?
Hello, mister. Bye.
The waves are beginning to die down. Look at those little bastards. Simmer down. Simmer down, bastards.
There's a trap in the reeds at your feet. Looks like the same one you saw Morel set before. Same mesh, same wiring. The reeds bend forlornly toward the sand. You see slabs of concrete north. In the east, the city center hums to you. The constant, distant song, louder on this part of the coast, nearer somehow. And there's that cold again, always the cold. Locusts are crawling around in the trap, confused but uneaten. You see no carnivorous reed phasmid gorging on them.
Big surprise. Anyway, 1 down, 3 to go. I meant no offense, just...
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? Still no word, I'm afraid, sir. I know it must be frustrating. Was there anything else you wanted to ask? Hold on, officer. I've got Central Jamrock Public Library on the line, and I've already introduced you to their librarian. Connecting the call in 2, 1.
Yes, this is Central Jamrock Public Library here. How can I help you, officer? Billy Majon, you said. Give me a moment, I'll have to check our database.
on Moreau Drive in central Jamrock, in a darkened hall lit by orange desk lamps far away from the noise outside, a middle-aged man taps commands into an old radio computer. A printout falls on the desk. Behind him, a lonely reader scours some dusty bookshelves, looking for a paperback.
Yes, hello, are you still there? I found Billy Majon's home address, is that alright? No phone number, unfortunately.
too poor to have a phone line.
Here we go, sir. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33B, apartment number 20. It's in Martinez, I believe. Cape Side Apartments, it says. That's all.
By the pier, north of here, those big apartment buildings there.
It says here that they returned their last book just a few days ago, but I wasn't at work that day. Marie? Marie? Do you remember a reader named Billy Majon? They returned a Tybalt book the other day. Yes, it was my colleague Marie. She said that it was Billy's husband who returned the book. He also asked for this new sci-fi release, Lowe's Radio City 87, but we don't have it yet.
Good. You have a name now.
Marie knows Billy. She's been working here longer than me. Sometimes her husband returns some books for her. Sorry, no. Marie only knows him by sight. Marie! She said it was an older man, and that she's pretty sure he'd had a drink or two the last time she saw him. One second. Sorry, Marie wasn't really paying any attention to that. Happy we could help. Goodbye, officer.
Anything else you need from me? 57th, over and out.
In the cabin, you see a set of steering.
I've got nothing to say to you. Why are you wasting your time?
The man ponders his cooking utensils and gives you a little nod. You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimple lock.
Oh, hello, dear. There you are again. Goodness, how is he? Did he say why he hasn't returned yet?
He's fine, ma'am. As we had suspected, he couldn't get back earlier because the water lock on the canal was broken. Now he's just finishing up some work.
Oh, yes. That's my Morel. He's bound to catch a cold staying out there for so long. But I am so relieved to hear that he's okay. Thank you for putting an old woman's heart at ease. if even a little.
You haven't, however. There are dangers out there. Our aging bodies fail. Her heart won't rest until Morel is safely back with her.
Oh, you don't want to hear about some old woman's ramblings.
Reflexively, the lieutenant read his familiar notebook.
Well, it was summer. I was building a racing track out of sand on the beach near a tall stand of reeds. Quite a tall one. Many times my height, I remember. When, all of a sudden... I'm getting ahead of myself. I was 5.5 in Betancourt in the suburbs. My grandmother had a summer home there.
Betancourt got bombed in the war. It used to be quite near, circa 20 kilometers from here.
The strangest moment of my life. I looked up and one of the reeds moved. Not like a plant, but like a living thing. It stood up and looked at me. Its body unfolded like some antique toy. I've never seen anything like it.
She had no fear, just surprise.
I didn't know this can happen, so I reached my arm and touched the thing. It felt just like a stalk of reed, but it moved, swaying, towering above me. After a while, 20 seconds, a minute maybe, it left, went into the reeds. I tried, but I was only a child. There was mud and high water. I couldn't see it anymore. I was just standing there knee-deep in mud, looking around me. I ran back home to my grandmother and asked her if reeds could walk, and told her they were looking at me. Of course, she just laughed at me, but I knew what I'd seen. For years, it was a story I told at parties when I wanted to impress boys, that sort of thing. Of course, most people just took it as a strange, amusing anecdote. So did I, honestly. But then I met Morel. We were on our first date when I told him my story. You should have seen his face. He said my descriptions matched the phasmid down to a T. Its white marble limbs, the way it moved. Our first, yes.
The sigh is tender. The sigh is tender, yes, but tempered by something else. A thought she can't express. Interesting.
Not all of them, as far as I remember. Some of them, on the inside like stalks of marble, if that makes sense. It's hard to say how big things are when you're quite small yourself. To me, it seemed to be taller than I was then, but that's probably not the case. Of course, I've thought about it, but Morel says my report matches with the others, and I'm sure I hadn't heard of the phasmid as a child, nor had my mother or my grandmother. So how did I know what to imagine? It was only when I started telling my story as a teenager that boys would tell me, "Lena, you trying to tell us you saw the Insulindian phasmid out there in those reeds? Get out of here." They just give me a cider and ruffle my hair and tell me to stop dreaming, but I saw it.
I thought it was a wonderful story, man.
You're welcome, sweetie. I do appreciate the chance to relive it whenever I get one. It was just such an impossibly sunshiny day. So warm.
This fan has two chain pull switches. One ends in a tiny fan, the other in a light bulb. A true... A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, now without the expression. It's just hairy. The door is closed. This door can only be opened with a key or from the inside. As you hold the metal, you sense the warmth left there by her hand.
Yes?
Behind the dockworkers, a ceiling-height window. The hawthorn branches scrape the glass like bony fingers. The kid doesn't even look at you. The trash containers, the smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste. The container sounds a muffled gong.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural? Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
The lieutenant is desperately searching for another, and hatred, disgust, the woman on the boat.
That is on her. Someone's got to keep an eye on her. On a first-name basis with her, are we? Piggy's moving up in the world. Pig's not half as dumb as he looks.
Humiliation wasn't enough for her. How about you offer her something, like a job?
Fuck a doodle-doo. And what job would that be? Cutting you into rashers? Oh, I know they need an extra hand. Especially after that cargo went mysteriously missing last week.
Do you know something about that?
Is that all you've got, Piggy? Looks like the job market has failed me once again. No job, no art. What a pity.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
Humiliation wasn't enough for her. How about...
Fuck a doodle-doo. And what job would that be? Cutting you into rashers? She'd flame my skin. Wear me like a mink the first chance she got. Unless I got to her first. Is that all you've got, Piggy? Looks like the job market has failed me once again. No job, no art. What a pity.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
Sure, she's all draped up in ironic detachment, but everyone's gotta eat.
Great. The little foray into the art world continues.
Blah, blah. I'm not for sale, Piggo.
Told you these artist types repel wealth. Turn it around. It's the seller who wields the power in this relationship.
Uh-oh, you're manipulating me. I do like a chance to rip off some stupid piggos. And I need a pack of cigarettes. And some paint. Okay, whatever, Piggy. Time to leech off each other like the parasites we are. Let me see what I've got.
Even the lieutenant leans closer to inspect the work.
Here. Happy?
Interesting. You can immediately see multiple ways to interpret this piece. What is the experience that the artist is trying to create? What bodies and spaces are they seeking to explore? She juts out her hand, letting you examine the piece. 3 red splotches have been shot at a diagonal across the surface. Tinier spots of various colors fan out from the same point of origin.
Well, Piggo, what do you make of it?
There's tension in these strokes of genius, a desire to step into a dialogue with the viewer, to provoke them, a meditation on Sein und Nicht-Sein.
Yeah, whatever. Spaces, bodies. Shit, hit me with that lingo. Signature? Oh yeah, Pigster. I sneezed while holding a wet brush. Paint flecked onto the canvas, and voila! You don't get more signature than that. That's what I said, Piglet. Signature? Oh, if you say so. I like to think that my trigeminal nerve painted it. 67,000 real. And your head on a silver tray.
Remember, this isn't about the art or the artist. This needless purchase implies your excessive wealth. Art comes across as more tasteful than simply hanging cash on the wall. Lowball her, the wretched are used to rolling with the punches.
All right, can't complain about that. You've got yourself a deal.
Splendid. Your first physical asset. But no time to stop. Money grows old unless it keeps moving. You need to find a buyer, preferably someone who will pay a high price for such an exclusive piece from a local artist. Nah, she'd probably send the entire Wild Pines legal team after you if she knew you were trading goods around their harbor. She's ready and poised, for a hostile takeover. Doing business with communist dictatorships only works if you've got long-term plans in place, which you don't. And become a small-time art peddler? No, think bigger. There must be someone around here with heavy pockets and an interest in the local art. Tell you what, have a wander around and I'll let you know if I hear any wealth. Yes, if you know what to listen for. That's what happens when you've been in the game for as long as I have. Your senses get tuned in to more opportune frequencies. I got some vibes from that container you moved with the crane in the harbor. Let's see what's inside. There isn't a door yet that Savvy's VIP status couldn't open.
Look at us, coming to an agreement. Who'd have thought? Anything else you want? I'm in a good mood, but it won't last long.
A sturdy metal door. This could be a way into the apartment building the smoking man vanished into. No reply. You can hear faint sweeping inside. A gust of wind blows through your clothes.
There must be another way into the building.
Vigilance officer, what can this old carabiner do for you? Vigilance officer, what can this old carabiner do for you? There's nothing for you to understand here. It is not her death you are investigating. Absolutely not. She died of pneumonia in her bed at the age of 79. This is highly usual. Reversal Fair of 91 in the Faubourg district. A parade was held to honor Guillaume Le Lion's name day, and the Carabineers marched in the place of honor. This was the happiest day of my life. I was 22 when I returned from King Guillaume's Akira operation in the south and found my sweetheart in the arms of this wretch.
The Akira operation was a 7-year campaign, during which suzerain Guillaume's army forcefully united the people in the southeastern part of La Petite Continent, collectively known as the Akira tribes, under the Revacholian banner.
I won her back, but while I was dealing with some issues.
You were like a dark cloud sucking the joy out of every living thing around you. And you hurt her. Those days and memories are gone.
The old soldier says nothing, but when his glance quickly runs over Gaston's face, there's an odd look in his eyes.
Vigilance officer, what can this old carabiner do for you?
Still, all you see is an old soldier refuses to replace his uniform.
Anything else I can assist you with, officer? We still have a game to finish. Vigilance officer, what can this old carabiner do for you?
Still, all you...
Anything else I can assist you with, officer?
Yes?
Vigilance officer, what can this old carabiner do for you?
Still,
anything else I can assist you with, officer? Vigilance officer, what can this old carabiner do for you?
Still,
anything else I can assist you with, officer? Vigilance officer, what can this old carabiner do for you?
Still, all you see...
Anything else I can assist you with, officer?
Yes?
Vigilance officer, what can this old car...
Still, all you...
Anything else I can assist you with, officer?
Looking for something, Ront? Come to tell me to fuck off again?
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
The file cabinet stands steady as ever, and the unlocked drawer slides out to greet you. The drawer slides shut. The payphone hangs mutely on the wall. This is the night watchman's booth. There, in that container you moved, there's something rich in there. We've got to get inside. Then it's time to show you how a master does it. No lock survives around with savvy. Get me up close. You're back before the cargo container. Its drawer has not lessened since you were last here. If anything, it seems to have grown slightly. Step aside, rank and file. Savvy's at the top of the VIP list here. That's right, out of the way. Whoa, watch it. How'd he get in front? Little slime ball. Thank you, thank you. Now, are you ready? It's time to make our entrance. At first, your knock rings hollow on the door. And then, just like that, you hear a click, then a rattle. Some mechanism unlocks itself inside the door.
Ahoy! Come on in!
You can't be serious.
Hard to say anything more about him. You cannot make out any of his details, but you do feel the overwhelming presence of capital. feeling causes all the hairs on your body to stand at attention, like soldiers preparing for review. Something's amiss. The light beams bend around his face and scatter in 1,000 directions. It seems the laws of physics do not apply here. They are suspended, distorted, and echo. Trying to visualize the physics at play is liable to give you an aneurysm. Don't think about it too hard. In the general stillness, only your tongue moves, flickering as you utter.
Welcome. Savvy, was it? Make yourself at home. Sorry, I'm not better able to receive you. I wasn't expecting visitors today.
You can't hear him exactly, yet you're able to understand every word he says. It is very strange. An overwhelming hum covers everything. Voice doesn't escape from him.
Now, what can I do for you, gentlemen? Who am I? Oh, I haven't been asked that question for such a long time. I don't meet a lot of people outside my circle these days. Anyhow, my name is Rustam Theodore, investor, license holder, and extremely high net worth individual. And your name is Savi, right?
We've hit the big time. This is the man who's going to make you rich. Always rely on your friendly neighborhood swindler.
Mr. Theodore, I think there's been some confusion. His name is in fact not Savvy. Let's start over. I am Lieutenant Kim Kisuragi of the RCM, and this is my partner.
Pleasure to meet you, Harrier Dubois. I must admit, the name suits you very well.
Oh Lord, not this again. Oh, nothing. It's just that we've got this murder to solve, and yet you go around asking everyone about money. And every time I ask, are you sure this is related to the case, you say, sure, Kim, I think it is. And yet, it never seems to get us any closer to solving the case.
It's quite alright. I'm used to the question by now. To be blunt, I inherited my fortune from my grandmother, who herself was an extremely high net worth individual back in Graz. All I did was take her fortune and invest it prudently. Believe it or not, it takes more than a bit of skill not to blow a vast fortune on sailing boats, bad choices, and unsupervised state policy.
And blow.
I gotta tell you, at first, being rich is a lot of work. You've got to work hard because everything's so darn expensive. You know, prices increase exponentially at this income level. But then, once you've reached my position, it's nearly impossible for me not to make money. My assets are so diversified that I'm bound to come out ahead no matter what. Some of my lower net worth friends say to me, but doesn't that take all the fun out of it? And I tell them, not really. Precisely, Mr. Dubois. You know, I hear people talk sometimes about economic equality and fairness, but tell me, where would we be without liberalism? In caves, whacking each other with bombs. A nightmare scenario, a world of slavery and violence. Which brings us back to the essential truth of modernism. Where we are right now, the freedom of mankind can only be derived from the free flow of capital. It is truly, it's almost entirely carefree. It really leaves you time to better yourself spiritually.
Hey! All this talk about money has made you lose the thread. What is going on with the light in this place? That's what you need to ask him about.
What do you mean? Are you talking about my chin? Oh, that's what you mean. Yes, I've heard of this effect, though I've never witnessed it myself, of course. It has something to do with our Weiss-Wiesemann coefficient.
The Weiss-Wiesemann coefficient is a ratio designed to reflect the difference in net worth between individuals. When the coefficient is close to 1, or 100%, it means one person possesses all the net worth. Among that group of individuals, it's been observed that when the Weiss-Wiesemann coefficient reaches about 0.96 or so, the laws of physics begin to bend around the high net worth individual. The Weiss-Wiesemann coefficient for you and this individual appears to be 0.9998, repeating. That's not good for you.
Among other things. But calm down. I am but a lowly single-digit billionaire. No, not really. There are actually quite many digits.
I see nothing of the sort. To be frank, all I see is a gentleman who's unusually well dressed for Martinez, in a cargo container, which I admit is odd.
Yes, I imagine that does look strange to you. My container. Traveling. This is a great way to get around. It's fun, it's safe, and it gives me lots of time to think. By the way, let me now ask you a question. Where are we exactly? Herschel. I remember walking its streets as a teenager. There used to be a bowling alley in Stella Maris. I wonder if it's still there. It's a shame I can't get out and explore myself. One of the downsides of being an extremely high net worth individual is that mobs of low net worth individuals are constantly banding together to ask for money. There simply aren't enough hours a day to hand out all the handouts. It's like feeding seagulls. There are always more, and they never seem to do anything interesting with it, except more seagulls. Spending money is a matter of desire. I'm sure you agree. I don't have the desire for spending it like that. Smart, no? It also provides a means to hide from all the targeted advertising we extremely high net worth individuals are constantly subjected to. Luxury yachts, high-fidelity portable radio systems, fail-proof outerwear, and so on. It just gets a bit middle class after a while. A bit bourgeois. What? No, I did not say that at all. Being rich is great. Just don't tell anyone I told you that. There it is. I knew it as soon as you did the Milton 32-8 note. A fellow entrepreneur. The art market, you say? Sure, hit me with it, as they say. I'm keen to hear what you have in mind. Yes, the special note that helps us ultras identify each other. I almost forgot it myself. But I'm getting sidetracked. Tell me about your business proposal. I'm all ears. A painter? I'm always looking to expand into new asset classes. Who's the artist? And the name of the piece?
There's no sign of a reaction for a good 3 seconds. Then,
Wonderful things, aren't they? Names. They can completely change your reading of a person, or in this case, a painting. Before I invest, I need to know more about the work. How do I know this asset is going to appreciate with time?
this is the only question that matters. Fail to come up with an interesting hook, and he's out.
I see. I'll be honest. All I see are splutters that lack any true intention.
Why are you letting this opportunity slip away? Give him a story, an experience. Make him want to run away with this painting and marry it in secret.
Please, if there's something I'm missing, I'd love to know what it is. That's what I wanted to ask you about. Tell me, what's their story? Did they suffer? Pray tell. Any details? I've heard some struggling families have to sell their organs to pay the rent. There is also the terrible misfortune of having to go get your own groceries when you're poor. Which one is it? Just a hollow husk. What a sad, sad story. I should ask Rhea to look into this. Maybe the Foundation can set up some scholarships for cases like these.
You've reeled him right in. That's got to have done it.
Well, I think that settles it. You found the buyer, my friend. A pleasure transacting with you. However, there are a few complications. I don't have the cash on me right now to pay for art of this caliber. What I can instead offer are shares in Mauer Koshlai Mercury Group.
Shares. That's even better. You can do a lot with them if you play your cards right.
They are the very units of capital. You can buy them, sell them, even sit on them if you think it wise. Trust me when I say this. Becoming a shareholder means you are part of the big leagues. I bought these shares many years ago for a steal. As predicted, Mauer Koshlai Mercury's operating profit has increased year on year, and there is no signs of it slowing down. People always need Mercury. Which means you could net yourself a considerable profit if you need some immediate liquidity. But if you don't mind waiting, I expect the value of these shares to double within the next 5 years.
Seems like a clever investment. Definitely worth thinking about if you care about your future. Yes, but chances are you can't use them to buy anything right now. No cigarettes, no alcohol, no funky little colorful pills.
It's a Gotwaldian Ilmaran company that specializes in extracting mercury. It's seen massive growth lately due to the discovery of Rjotvark mercury. Have you heard about it? At the moment, it's trading at more than 1.5 times the price of gold. That's because it's an essential component in the next generation of radio computers. Perhaps using it in their next model. I can't wait for mine to turn up. My predictions say its improved speed and azimuthal range should increase my trade efficiency by whopping 46%. You really should order one if you don't want to be left behind. Splendid! This is a stock certificate. Well, a photocopy of one. Nevertheless, it's solid proof that you hold shares in Malware Costly Mercury Group.
The light around the individual in front of you changes somehow as you take the scroll. You can't figure out what's different. You just know that it is. This transaction has changed the physical relationship between you. You are now more alike somehow. The Weiss-Wiesmann coefficient for you and this individual has now dropped to 0.9989, repeating.
That concludes our part of the transaction. Once you've turned over the asset, my people will get the legal ball rolling. Another deal complete. Welcome to the big leagues! If you haven't already, I'd advise you to consider hiring a personal brand strategist. What don't they do? They practically do everything, from spotting good investments and analyzing design trends to booking a lunchtime table at the prestigious Landrosee. Unfortunately not. I only know the ones who work with multi-millionaires and beyond. But take a look around, and I'm sure you'll find one. Personal brand strategies are attracted to money like sharks to blood. You'll find having net worth opens many new doors for you.
Here's an avant-garde proposal. What about Idiot Doom Spiral? He used to hustle and hang out with the sales hawks and trend pushers of the marketing world. Let's ask him if he knows any personal brand strategists. and we should see what this net worth can do. Might score a discount, or better yet, get you some free goods. That's the kind of thing that really makes you feel like a hotshot. Ask the local merchants about it if you get the chance.
So, what's next on the agenda?
Could you please stop asking everyone for money? It does not reflect well on the RCM, and to be perfectly frank, we can't afford to look worse than we already do.
It's perfectly alright. Based on your appearance, I can tell I'm dealing with a smart man. As you may know, us high net worth individuals do not have a lot of cash on hand. Investments and liquidity are enemies of one another. I think I only have coins for coffee machines. Here is 3 real. How much can you get for this?
Unbelievable. You managed to meet a man who's so rich, light literally bends around him, and all you can get out of him is 3 real? What's wrong with you?
You're welcome. You know, maybe you can make that money grow. Come up with an investment plan. How's that sound? Thanks for stopping by. If you ever have an idea you want to pitch me, I'm all... Welcome back, gentlemen. What can I do for you?
Deploying high-concept buzzword generator. All systems functional. Ready to engage in 3, 2, 1. It's time to disrupt the future. You've got to stay lean, innovative, and focus on what matters most. The children.
A youth center, huh? What kind of youth center?
A place to train buff kids. Come on, tell him what he wants to hear.
Brilliant. Without children, who'll be there to buy stuff in the future? When life closes a door, it opens a window, yes? What's the expected return on this?
You're deep into ultra-liberal territory now. Good work.
Very impressive. You've got a natural eye for unusual investment opportunities. I don't normally do this without a formal pitch deck, but to hell with it. What's the point of being rich if you have to follow all the rules? Here's the round of seed funding. This should be enough to prove out the concept and get things off the ground.
Cha-ching! What'll it be? Speed? Vodka? Cigarettes?
Remember, it's not a handout. It's an investment, and I expect to see returns.
The lieutenant stands there, dumbfounded. His mouth opens slightly, then closes again.
I'm not unimpressed. Let's leave it at that.
Now, was there anything else I could help you gentlemen with? The pleasure was mine. Unfortunately, I must be away soon. The next time we meet, I'll be expecting an update on my investment. Farewell, friend, and may your peace of mind guide you to happiness. Welcome back, gentlemen. What can I do for you? The pleasure was farewell.
Rusting control panel with several knobs. The words Marsh and Arrête are very, very slightly. The file cabinet stands steady as ever, and the unlocked drawer slides out to greet you. The drawer slides shut smoothly.
Your race descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let...
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you? The mercenary, eh? Who could have killed him? That's indeed the question. Why even do such a thing? What a thought! Why would noble workers resort to such a thing? Unless your dead guy was an enemy combatant. I ain't the murdering type, but that's just me. Large organizations like our...
He's not lying about not doing it. He means a more violent...
Understood. This has been of limited use.
No problem. I wish the best to you in your search. Sure, I'm glad it's not my search.
The tear machine stands in the corner. Your bottles clunk into the machine, and the money appears with us. Do you know what you should do with that money, kiddo? You should buy more alcohol. You see several packaged raincoats fill a low shelf beneath a display of croissants and juice bottles.
Hey, was there something you needed?
Well, well, bringing him that new bird sure made a difference in his attitude.
Absolutely out of the question.
Your body is ready, sire.
Hey, was there something you needed?
The dented yellow mailbox greets you with... The mail collection box has no faith in your psychopathic manipulations. The girl is ignoring you. It's like...
Must be another way into the building.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
Oh, look. It's the cop who turned me into a bad person.